Ethan lived alone in a quiet apartment high above the glowing city. The city never slept. Flying vehicles passed like slow stars, and tall towers shined with soft blue light. Humans and aliens worked together here, but trust was still fragile. Ethan worked as a systems analyst for an interstellar research company. He was calm, logical, and careful in everything he did. His life followed a simple routine: work, home, rest. Nothing unexpected ever happened. At least, that was true until the food started disappearing. One morning, Ethan opened his fridge and frowned. A sealed food pack was missing. He checked again, slowly. It was not there. Strange, he whispered. At first, he blamed the smart fridge. Sometimes the system made mistakes. But the next day, more food was gone. Not expensive food. Not snacks. Only simple items: bread, protein packs, fruit capsules. Always the same type. Ethan lived alone. No guests, no pets. Only one other person had access to the apartment. Her name was Lina. Lena was his maid. She came every morning, cleaned quietly, and left before sunset. She was young, thin, and very silent. She always kept her eyes down and spoke only when needed. Ethan had never seen her smile. Ethan never suspected her. The company hired trusted staff. Still, the missing food made him uneasy. So one night, Ethan checked the apartment security logs. The system showed movement in the kitchen late at night. Ethan's heart slowed. The figure was Lena. She entered the kitchen, opened the fridge, and took food. Her movements were careful, almost fearful. She looked around many times, as if scared of being seen. Then she left. Ethan leaned back in his chair, silent. He did not feel angry. He felt confused. If she was hungry, he thought, why not ask? He paid her well. He had never refused help to anyone. Stealing did not match her gentle behavior. The next few nights, Ethan watched more recordings. The pattern was clear. Same time, same food, same fear. Lena never took money. Never touched anything else. Only food. Ethan decided not to confront her. Not yet. Instead, he did something unusual. He waited. One night, he pretended to sleep early. The apartment lights dimmed. The city outside hummed softly. Ethan stayed awake, watching through the security screen. At exactly 2:14 a.m. Lena entered, but this time, Ethan noticed something new. Her hands were shaking. She packed the food quickly into a small bag and paused. She pressed her hand against her chest, breathing hard. For a moment, she looked like she might cry. Then she left. Ethan stood up, without thinking. He followed her. He stayed far behind, careful not to be seen. Lena moved fast, taking back streets and service paths. She did not go to a home. She did not go to a market. She went down into the old levels of the city. These areas were abandoned after the alien integration wars. Broken lights flickered. Walls were cracked. The air felt cold and heavy. Ethan hesitated. This place was not safe. Still, he followed. Lena stopped near a locked metal door hidden behind debris. She checked around, then opened it and slipped inside. Ethan waited. Minutes passed. From inside, he heard something. A sound. It was soft, but not human. Ethan's breath caught. He stepped closer. Behind the door, a faint glow pulsed blue and purple, like alien tech. The sound came again, weak and broken, like breathing through pain. Ethan felt his heart pound. "What are you hiding?" He whispered. At that moment, Ethan understood something deep and heavy. This was not about stolen food. This was about survival, and whatever Lena was protecting. It was worth risking everything. Ethan did not know it yet, but his quiet life was over, and the truth waiting behind that door would test What it truly meant to be human. Ethan stood still in the dark corridor of the old city level. The air was cold, heavy, and smelled of rust. The metal door in front of him looked forgotten, hidden behind broken walls and cables. Faint light leaked from the cracks, and that sound again, it was weak. Almost like a cry trying not to be heard. Ethan swallowed hard. Every rule in his mind told him to leave. This place was illegal to enter. Cameras did not work here. If something happened, no one would come. But Ethan stayed. Slowly. He placed his hand on the door. It was warm. That made no sense. Alien technology often gave off heat. But this place was supposed to be abandoned. Ethan hesitated, then pushed the door open just a little. Light spilled out. Inside was a small hidden room. The walls were covered with old alien symbols and broken devices. In the center, a soft blue glow surrounded something on the floor. Ethan's eyes widened. Lena was kneeling beside a small figure. It was not human. The creature was child-sized, thin and trembling. Its skin shimmered faintly, like liquid glass under light. Strange markings moved slowly across its body. Its breathing was uneven. In Lena's hands was the food. She broke it carefully and fed the creature piece by piece. Her face showed fear and deep care. Ethan stepped back by accident. The sound echoed. Lena froze. She turned slowly. Their eyes met. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Lena stood up, placing herself between Ethan and the creature. "Please," she said, her voice shaking. "Do not call anyone." Ethan could not speak. This was not theft. This was hiding. "This thing," Ethan finally said, choosing his words. "What is it?" Lena's eyes filled with tears. "He is a child," she said. "And he is dying." Ethan looked again. The creature's chest rose weakly. Small lights flickered across its skin, then faded. It reached out slightly. Toward Lena. Ethan felt something heavy press against his chest. "What species?" Ethan asked quietly. Lena hesitated. "If I tell you," she said, "you may hate me." Ethan shook his head. "I do not hate what I do not understand." She took a deep breath. "He is from the Karen," she said. "They are banned, hunted." Ethan's blood ran cold. The Karen were declared dangerous after the integration wars. Their biology was rare and valuable. Many governments wanted them for research. Few survived. "Why are you helping him?" Ethan asked. Lena lowered her head. "Because no one helped me." She slowly pulled back her sleeve. Under her skin, faint alien markings glowed. Just like the child's, but weaker. "I am half," she said. "Human mother. Caring father. I hide every day. I clean houses. I stay quiet. I survive." Ethan understood. "And him?" Ethan asked. "He is alone," Lena said. "They killed his family. He escaped. I found him near the waste zone. If they find him, they will take him apart." Silence filled the room. Ethan thought of the laws, the rewards, the safety he would gain by reporting this. And then he thought of the child's weak breathing. "How long has he been here?" Ethan asked. 3 weeks, Lena answered. "I bring food, medicine when I can. But I am not enough." Ethan looked at the food bag. His food. He felt ashamed. "You should have asked," he said softly. Lena shook her head. "Humans fear what they do not understand." Ethan smiled sadly. "Sometimes," he said, "but not always." Suddenly, a distant mechanical sound echoed through the tunnels. Drones. Lena's face turned pale. "They are scanning the lower levels," she whispered. "They are close." Ethan's mind raced. If the drones detected alien energy, it was over. "Listen to me," Ethan said firmly. "I work in systems. I can hide his signal. But you must trust me. Lena stared at him. Why? She asked. Why help us? Ethan looked at the child again. Because being human, he said, must mean more than following rules. The drone sound grew louder. Lights flickered. The child cried out. Weakly. Ethan knelt beside him and placed his hand near the alien tech. For the first time in his life, Ethan crossed a line he could never return from. And above them, unseen eyes were already watching. The sound of drones echoed through the underground tunnels like distant thunder. Red scanning lights passed over broken walls and old metal pipes. The air felt tense, as if the city itself was holding its breath. Ethan moved fast. He opened his wrist console and activated a silent command. Lines of code flashed across the screen. This area was not connected to the main network, but Ethan knew how to bend old systems. Hurry, Lena whispered, holding the alien child close. The child's skin glowed brighter now, pulsing with weak energy. Every pulse felt like a signal screaming for attention. Ethan placed a small device on the floor. It hummed softly and spread a thin blue field across the room. This will hide his life signs, Ethan said. For a short time, the drone lights paused outside the hidden door. Lena stopped breathing. Seconds passed, and the lights moved on. The sound faded. Lena collapsed to her knees, shaking. The child clung to her, making a soft sound, something between a cry and a sigh. Ethan exhaled slowly. That was too close, he said. Yes, Lena replied quietly. They will come again. Ethan looked around the room more carefully now. He noticed details he had missed before: burn marks on the walls, broken restraints, dried blood near old equipment. This place, he said. What happened here? Lena hesitated. This was a research site, she said. During the war. Ethan felt a chill. Humans and alien allies had once used places like this to study enemy species. Many truths were buried after the war ended. They tested on Karen, Lena continued. Children, too. Ethan clenched his fists. The alien child shifted weakly. Ethan knelt beside him, keeping his movements slow. The child's eyes opened slightly. They were large, dark, and full of fear. Ethan spoke gently. It's okay, he said. You are safe. For now. The child did not understand the words, but he understood the tone. His breathing eased just a little. What is his name? Ethan asked. Lena swallowed. He has none. His people name children later, if they live long enough. Ethan felt something break inside him. How sick is he? Ethan asked. Lena looked away. He needs energy crystals, she said. Medical ones. His body cannot survive on human food alone. I tried. But it is not enough. Ethan stood up slowly. I can get them, he said. Lena's head snapped up. No, those are controlled items. If you try, I have access, Ethan interrupted. High-level access. Lena stared at him in disbelief. You would risk everything? She asked. Ethan did not answer right away. Instead, he remembered his job, his clean apartment, his safe, empty life, and then he remembered the child's weak breathing. Yes, he said simply. Lena's eyes filled with tears. You do not understand what this means. I think I do, Ethan replied. It means I can no longer pretend I did not see this. Suddenly, the child let out a sharp cry. His body arched, markings flashing violently. The room filled with light. Ethan rushed forward. What's happening? He asked. His body is failing, Lena said, panic in her voice. He is losing control of his energy. The lights flickered. The hiding field weakened. Above them, far away. A system alert triggered. Unknown to them? A small spike appeared on a government monitor. Something detected. A voice said in a clean white room above the city. Back underground. Ethan pressed the device harder. "Stay with me," he whispered to the child. The child's hand reached out and grabbed Ethan's finger dot in that moment. Ethan felt something strange: images, emotions, fear, and loss. Not words, but feelings. The child was sharing his pain. Ethan gasped. "He can connect," Ethan said. "Mentally?" "Yes," Lena replied softly. "That is why they hunt them." The light faded. The child went still, breathing shallow. Lena looked at Ethan with fear and hope mixed together. "If he dies," she said, "they will erase everything. His species, his story." Ethan stood up. "Then we will not let him die," he said. But even as he spoke, a red symbol flashed on his console. Internal alert. Unauthorized signal. Trace Ionitaden's face hardened. "They know something is here," he said. Lena hugged the child tighter. "What do we do?" she asked. Ethan looked at the hidden room, the past crimes, the fragile life, the danger closing in. Then he made a decision that would change more than just their fate. "We move him," Ethan said. "Tonight." Above them, the system began to wake, and the truth humanity tried to bury was about to rise again. The hidden room felt smaller now. Ethan stood still, staring at the red warning symbol on his wrist console. The system was tracing an unknown signal. Not exact. Not yet. But close enough to be dangerous. "We don't have much time," Ethan said. Lena looked down at the child. His body was weak, but his glow had softened. He was alive for now. "Moving him is risky," Lena said. "If his energy spikes again." "I know," Ethan replied. "But staying here is worse." Ethan opened his console and pulled up old city maps. Most paths were blocked or monitored, but one location caught his. An emergency shelter. Built during the integration wars. Hidden. Forgotten. "This place has medical shielding," Ethan said. "No direct network. Old human tech." Lena nodded slowly. It could work. Ethan packed quickly. Medical wraps, food, power cells. Everything had to be quiet. As Ethan lifted the child gently, the alien stirred. His markings glowed faintly, reacting to Ethan's touch. "It's okay," Ethan whispered. "I've got you." The words surprised even him. They moved through narrow tunnels, avoiding open paths. Every sound felt too loud. Every shadow felt alive. Above them, the city systems adjusted. In a white control room high above the skyline, officers studied a growing data spike. "It's not random," one officer said. "Someone is hiding something." "Run a deeper scan," another replied. Quietly. Back below, Lena suddenly stopped. "Ethan," she whispered. "Listen." Footsteps. Human footsteps. Security. Ethan pulled Lena into a side passage just as two armored officers passed. Their helmets glowed red as scanners swept the walls. "False readings again," one officer said. "Probably old tech." Ethan held his breath. The child let out a small sound. The scanner paused. Ethan slowly adjusted his device, feeding the system noise. The scanner flickered, then moved on. Only when the footsteps faded did Ethan breathe again. "You're good at this," Lena said softly. Ethan did not smile. "I helped build these systems," he said. "I know their weaknesses." They reached the shelter just before dawn. The door opened with a low mechanical sound, revealing a clean but dusty room. Old beds, medical units. Emergency power. Ethan activated the systems. Soft white light filled the space. The child was placed on a bed. The medical scanner hummed, reading alien biology slowly. Lena watched, hands shaking. "What if it rejects him?" she asked. "It won't," Ethan said. "This was designed for all species." The scanner beeped, stable, critical. But Survive Bielana collapsed into a chair. tears running freely now. "You saved him," she whispered. Ethan shook his head. "Not yet." He knew what came next. As the child rested, Ethan's console chimed. Official notice. Internal review Arikiusti. His company had noticed. They always did. Later that day, Ethan stood in a glass office overlooking the city. Across from him sat Director Howe, a calm man with sharp eyes. "There's an unusual signal linked to your access codes," Hale said. "Care to explain?" Ethan met his gaze. "No," Ethan said. Silence filled the room. "You understand what refusal means," Hale said. "Your career. Your protection." "I understand," Ethan replied. Hale leaned back. "Something illegal is happening," Hale said. "Alien-related?" Ethan's jaw tightened. "And if it is?" Ethan asked. Hale's eyes narrowed. "Then you should remember the law." Ethan stood up. "And you should remember history," he said. "What happens when laws forget compassion?" Hale said nothing. Ethan walked out. He knew what he had done. There would be consequences. That night, Ethan returned to the shelter. Lena sat beside the child, humming softly. "They will come," she said. "Soon," Ethan nodded. "Then we will be ready." Outside, unseen by them, surveillance eyes locked onto the shelter's location. And far away, a message was sent to an alien, authority that had been silent for years. A Karen child has been found. The choice, Ethan. Maid in silence was now echoing. Across the stars. The shelter was quiet, too. Quiet. Ethan noticed it the moment he stepped inside. The old machines hummed softly, but something felt wrong. The air felt heavy, like a warning. Lena looked up from the child's bed. "You felt it too," she said. Ethan nodded. His console showed no alerts, no warnings. That worried him more than alarms ever could. "They are hiding their move," Ethan said. The child slept, his breathing slow but steady. His markings glowed softly now, more stable than before. For the first time, there was hope. Then the lights flickered. Once. Twice. Ethan's single quotes. His heart dropped. Before he could speak, the shelter doors slammed shut with a loud metallic sound. Red lights ignited along the walls. Lockdown INITD Lina stood up quickly. "They found us." Ethan rushed to his console, typing fast. Every command was blocked. Someone had overridden the system from outside. Footsteps echoed. Heavy. Controlled. Trained. The doors burst open. Human security forces poured in, weapons raised. Behind them floated two black surveillance drones, their lenses glowing red. "Step away from the alien." A voice commanded. Lena moved instinctively in front of the child. "No," she said. An officer grabbed her arm and pulled her back. "Lena!" Ethan shouted. She struggled, fear and anger in her eyes. "Do not touch him." Ethan stepped forward. "This is my responsibility," he said. "Let her go." A tall officer turned toward him. "You are under investigation for aiding illegal life forms," the officer said calmly. "Step aside." The child woke up. He cried out. The room filled with light as his markings flared. The drones reacted instantly, charging weapons. "Stop!" Ethan shouted. "You'll kill him." The child screamed, the sound sharp and painful. Screens around the room cracked. Systems flickered. The officers hesitated. "He's unstable," one said. "We need to extract him now." Lena broke free for a moment and knelt beside the child. "Please," she begged. "He's just a child." The officer hesitated only for a second. Then orders came through their helmets. "Take the woman. Secure the alien." Two officers grabbed Lena. She screamed Ethan's name as they dragged her away. "No!" Ethan lunged forward, but a weapon blocked his chest. The child reached out, his small hand stretched. toward Ethan Dot, and then everything stopped. The lights froze. The drones powered down mid-air. The officers froze like statues. Ethan gasped. A deep, calm voice echoed inside his mind. Enough. Ethan fell to his knees. The child floated slightly above the bed, surrounded by soft light. His eyes were open now, clear, ancient, and aware. He's communicating. Ethan whispered. The child's voice did not use words. It used feeling, fear, loss, pain, and then something else. Trust. The systems around the shelter came back online, but not under human control. Across the city, alarms rang. In government buildings, screens filled with unknown symbols. In alien embassies, long silent signals awakened. A Karen signal. Old, powerful. The officers' weapons powered down. What is happening? One shouted. Ethan stood slowly. You pushed him too far, Ethan said. And now, everyone will know. The child lowered back onto the bed, exhausted. The systems returned to normal. The officers regained control. Take the alien, the commander said urgently. Now! But before they could move, a new voice filled the room, broadcast through every channel. This is the Interstellar Council. Everyone froze. You are ordered to stand down, the voice said. The child is under protected status. The commander's face went pale. That's impossible, he whispered. The voice continued. Human citizen Ethan Ward has invoked the right of witness. The actions taken here are now public. Screens around the shelter lit up, showing live feed citizens watching, humans and aliens alike. Lena was released. She fell into Ethan's arms, shaking. You did it, she whispered. Ethan shook his head. No, he said softly. He did. Outside the shelter, ships moved in the sky. Alien and human vessels together. For the first time in years. But Ethan knew this was not the end. It was the beginning of something far bigger. And the world was watching what humans would do next. The broadcast spread faster than anyone expected. Across the city, people stopped walking. Screens in homes, markets, and stations showed the same image, the shelter. The child, Ethan standing beside him. Across planets, the signal repeated. Humans watched. Aliens watched. And for the first time, no one looked away. Ethan stood still as messages flooded every channel. The Interstellar Council's seal glowed on the screens. This is a protected hearing, the voice said. No force will be used. The officers lowered their weapons slowly. Some looked confused. Some looked ashamed. Outside the shelter, crowds gathered. Humans, aliens, workers, soldiers, doctors. Lena held the child's hand, afraid to let go. What will they do to him? She whispered. Ethan looked around at the screens, the people watching. I don't know, he said honestly. But they can't hide this anymore. Inside the council chambers, leaders argued loudly. Some demanded control. Some demanded silence. But the image of the child, weak, frightened, alive, refused to disappear. A human doctor stepped forward on the broadcast. I can help, she said. I've studied xenobiology. Let me treat him. Then another voice. I'll protect the shelter, said a human soldier. I didn't sign up to hunt children. More voices followed. Engineers offered power. Scientists offered medicine. Civilians offered shelter and food. Across the system, something changed. Fear began to lose its grip. The child stirred. His eyes opened slowly. He looked at the screen, at the thousands of faces watching him. His markings glowed softly. A gentle wave passed through the broadcast. Not sound, not words. Feeling. Curiosity. Sadness. Hope. People felt it in their chests. Many cried without knowing why. He's not a weapon. Someone whispered. He's just alive. The council fell silent. At last, a senior representative spoke. "We made laws to protect ourselves," she said. "But we forgot who those laws were meant to serve." She looked directly at Ethan. "Human Ethan Ward," she said. "Why did you do this?" Ethan did not prepare a speech. He simply answered, "Because if we only help when it is safe," he said, "then kindness has no meaning." The room was quiet. Then the decision came. "The child will be placed under joint protection," the council announced. No experimentation. No capture. Lena covered her mouth, crying openly now. The shelter transformed overnight. Medical teams arrived. Human and alien doctors worked side by side. The child received energy crystals, slowly stabilizing. His glow grew warmer. Stronger. News channels called it the Midnight Shelter Event. Some praised Ethan. Some called him a traitor. But something else happened too. In military zones. Soldiers refused similar orders. In labs. Scientists opened sealed files. In cities. Humans offered help to alien refugees hiding in fear. Humanity was being tested, and many chose to stand. One night, as the child slept peacefully, Lena sat beside Ethan. "I spent my whole life hiding," she said softly. "Tonight, I feel seen." Ethan nodded. "So do I." The child reached out weakly and touched Ethan's hand. This time, the connection was calm. Gratitude. Ethan smiled. Outside, ships from different worlds hovered together in the sky. Not as enemies. Not as rulers, but as witnesses. The council made a final announcement. "This incident has changed our understanding," the voice said. "From this moment, the Karen are no longer erased." Cheers echoed across cities and stations. The child slept. Safe. But far away. In the dark between stars, older powers listened. Not all of them were pleased, and one final chapter still remained. Months passed. The city looked the same from the outside. Bright towers, flying lights, endless movement. But something inside it had changed. People spoke more softly now. They listened more. The shelter beneath. The city was no longer hidden. It had become a place of care. Human doctors and alien healers worked together every day. Old machines were replaced with new ones. Fear was replaced with purpose. The Karen child was stronger now. His skin glowed with steady light, no longer wild or painful. He could sit up. He could walk a little. Sometimes he laughed a soft sound that filled the room with warmth. They gave him a name. Aaron. Lena was there every day. She no longer wore the clothes of a maid. She wore a simple badge of citizenship, granted by the council after long debate. She still kept her voice calm, still moved quietly, but she no longer hid. Ethan visited often, though his life had changed greatly. He no longer worked in the high glass towers. His old job was gone. Some doors closed forever, but others opened. Ethan now worked as a witness, advisor helping review laws that harmed those without voices. It was slow work, hard work, meaningful work. One evening, Ethan sat beside Aaron's bed. The child looked up at him with clear eyes. "You stayed," Aaron said slowly, his voice still new to words. "Yes," Ethan replied. "I promised." Aaron reached out and touched Ethan's hand. This time, the connection was gentle. No fear. No pain. Just peace. Lena watched from the doorway, her eyes wet with quiet joy. Across the system, changes continued. Old research files were opened. Truths long buried were spoken aloud. Some people apologized. Some refused. But the truth no longer belonged to the shadows. The Interstellar Council passed new laws, slowly, carefully. Protection for refugee species. Shared guardianship. Limits on secret research. Not perfect, but better. Humanity was not suddenly kind, but it was trying. One night, Ethan returned to his old apartment. The same walls, The same window. The same fridge. He opened it. It was full. Not because he needed it, but because he could share it. Ethan smiled softly. He remembered the first night he noticed food missing. How small it felt. How simple. How wrong he had been. A message appeared on his console. Visitor request approved. Ethan looked up. Aaron entered the room with Lena beside him. The child walked on his own now, a little unsteady, but proud. This was where it started? Lena asked quietly. Ethan nodded. In the kitchen, he said. At night. Aaron looked at the fridge with curiosity. You did not get angry. Aaron said. Ethan shook his head. I was confused, he said. But sometimes confusion is the door to understanding. They stood together in silence. Far away among the stars, other species watched humanity closely. Some still feared them. Some still remembered old wounds. But many remembered one thing above all. When a child cried in the dark, a human listened. The story spread not as a legend of power or war, but as a reminder that humanity was not defined by its weapons, not by its laws alone, but by the moments when it chose. Compassion over comfort. Ethan looked out at the city. Lights. Sometimes, he said softly, the smallest acts change the future. Lena nodded. Aaron smiled. And somewhere in the quiet space between stars, a long silent hope began to grow again. Because humanity did not save the galaxy that night. It simply opened a fridge and chose to care.